And the message really is, let's go back to our roots and our founding by St. John Paul. St. John Paul gave us three purposes, one of which is to promote the knowledge and the practice of Catholic social teaching. That's what we should be about. And John Paul went on to say that simply getting the word out is evangelization of Catholic social teaching, is evangelization of the faith. So that's a powerful charge. And I think we need to internalize that charge and work on promoting the knowledge and practice in our personal and professional lives. Most of us don't know what we don't know about what's happening digitally. Look at this kind of at two levels. Number one, what's happening right now? If you look at, there's 7 companies basically having a world monopoly in the area of the new economy. 4 American, Apple, Amazon, Google, and Facebook. 3 Chinese, Baidu, Alibaba, and Tencent. Those 7 control everything at some level. But what are they doing? It's not a normal business model. They don't control the product. They control the platform to combine the buyer and the seller. And they're multi-hundred million, billion-dollar companies. One of them might break $1 trillion soon. So our largest modern companies, in a sense, they don't make anything. They're platforms for connecting buyers and sellers, and they're enablers. And they're so global, no regulatory organization is going to control that. How do you control that? So our question is, and what we want to address from the current issue of just knowing that, is what's the internal moral and ethical compass that drives this new business model? An old business model we pretty much know. We have stakeholders. Stakeholders should somehow be involved, and we understand how that works. The old model is focused on both controlling your product and controlling its efficiency in getting it out. Nothing to do with the new businesses. So the model of stakeholder management, it's gone. There is none. How do you manage this in a global environment that cannot really be regulated going forward without an internal compass to define what is good, what's bad, how should we manage this? And that's just now. You take the 5G mobile network and the move to cloud computing, and it's going to fundamentally change the way we work. You're no longer tethered to a spot. If you have a device, you have access to everything you need anywhere, because 5G is going to be faster, more secure, and broader. And cloud computing, everything's being stored in the cloud anyway. Why do you need to sit at a desk to access your data? What are the implications of that in the next 5 years in terms of work? You look at big data being collected by the likes of Google and Facebook. Huge already, and there's going to be more big data. Where's the downside of that? As Google and other companies and Facebook get more big data, Amazon, what they know is how to impact you personally, me personally. They're going to just figure that out through the algorithms that are being written to pass and push whatever they're after, almost targeted to me personally. Who's writing the algorithms to create that? I would say they're written by secularists, young people who understand human psychology and the ability to use big data to completely manipulate what you're going after. Think of young people being addicted to videos and how to get at them because they understand human psychology and they understand big data and how to get to you. What does that mean? What are the moral implications for secularists creating this environment where I could target you so personally, you will never know it, but they're doing it now in terms of, I think one of the founders of one of the big companies admitted it. They understand what addicts people to their product and especially target young people. How can that be right? What is the moral and ethical compass being used in this new digital world? If it's purely secularists, I'm afraid of that. Because on what values is that based? Money, or a soft power to accomplish what they want, whatever their ends are, be it money, politically, who knows? But the principles of Catholic social teaching, which should inform every lay leaders' conscience, then to go out and impact on the structures of society would change that. And I think what has to happen is that moral and ethical compass has to be reintroduced, focused on human dignity, solidarity, and subsidiarity, the three pillars of Catholic social teaching. And in fact, the foundation is considering establishing a permanent working group focused on ethics and the new economy and the new digital age to start getting ahead of that curve. Because the things I've just mentioned really pale to what's going to be coming in artificial intelligence. That is a big scary that no one is really focusing on. That is going to fundamentally create an ethical challenge for mankind, fundamentally. And it's right around the corner. Basically, AI, artificial intelligence, creates a self-improvement cycle within itself, I'm reading, surpassing all human knowledge. Now that sounds what's the word? The end of the world is coming. That's a piece of it. The other piece is there's a movement called transhumanism. I'm not sure you're familiar with it. I'm learning what it is. That sees it as an opportunity to redefine what is human. Some are claiming that artificial intelligence is another life form. Really. But who's focusing on it? Who's really aware of what's happening with this? Who's managing it? And again, we need to develop a moral and ethical compass, especially in this world, because AI, combined with nanotechnology, neuroscience, and biology, the transhumanists want to create man-machine melds. They're serious about it. So that world that we thought was science fiction has a group of very senior scientists saying that's the goal of humanity. So the question of what forms the moral basis of a secularist person is, I don't know. It's just what you believe, I believe, and you go from there. Yet that's why I said I think AI is a fundamental challenge to humanity, to mankind, and how we manage that. And we're starting, we're calling it the rerum novarum of the modern age. Pope Leo's encyclical Rerum Novarum really introduced Catholic social teaching's reflection on the state of society. Right. So we're titling it Rerum Novarum for the digital age. So it's a general review. What are the issues that we'll be facing? What are the things we need to look around at and make happen? So we're trying to identify at a very big level what are the new things, what are the Rerum Novarum of the 21st century in 2020. Then we're doing a smaller dive into the impact on the digital age on the family. And then we're going off in a completely different direction to support Pope Francis's presentation to the FAO, the UN's FAO, in 2016's World Hunger Day address. We began our efforts to form in the U.S. in 2001. And I'd say our biggest challenge is St. John Paul was the first pope to refer to Catholic social doctrine, not teaching. And then he would call it doctrine teaching, doctrine teaching. He kind of used both. Benedict continued that, and Francis is continuing it. It's referred to as doctrine and teaching. However, a doctrine requires a catechism, an official explanation of what is Catholic social teaching. So when we started in the U.S., absent that, we found, as John Paul warned us, that it's Catholic social teaching is being used instrumentally. It's being used by people to make their points, whether that be left or right, rather than using it as an integral whole. So our challenge, really, we spent 4 to 5 years developing a normative canon of Catholic social teaching, which got approved, was designed by 2 deans of theology. The Lateran was involved, the Catholic University of America, our cardinals, the Vatican. So we took all that time so that when we say Catholic social teaching, here it is. It's not left, it's not right, it's Catholic. And it has lessons and warnings for both sides of the political debate. So that was almost 5 years of effort because we couldn't go into the public square and talk about it without getting pigeonholed. Oh, you're left, you're right. And that confused me and my peers because we weren't part of that group. We're mostly out of business in the professions. And to address that effectively, we had to say, no, this is Catholic social teaching. It's normative. It's not canonical. So after developing that, we then developed the programs to teach that, to promote it. John Paul's first requirement, promote the knowledge of Catholic social teaching. And now we're transferring to promoting the practice of Catholic social teaching, to have lay Catholic leaders form their conscience on these principles and implement in their private and public lives. So that's the challenge that we're facing. I don't think we'll solve it in my lifetime. But that's the approach we've been taking, or trying to take.